She is confident. She earns more than her partner. She does not want kids, at least for now. She is the CEO, the director, the entrepreneur. She is also controversial. The rise of the female boss has sparked everything from admiration to outrage. Some call it empowerment and others call it a societal decline. You've seen the think pieces. Korean women are ruining families. Where have all the feminine women gone? Men don't want high achieving women. But here's the real question. Why is it that women's success is seen as a threat? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It is so lovely to have you here. My channel is all about social commentary, motivational and educational content. So if this is the type of content you like, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Rewinding just 70 years ago, a woman's place was in the home. Her value defined by how well she could cook, clean, and raise children.
Do the dishes alone.
But you and Dad are going to the movies.
I'm too tired. I did all the washing today, and I cleaned your room, too. It really needs...
I meant to come home and clean it, Mother. But after school there was a meeting.
Mother! I can't wear these slacks tonight. You said you'd press them.
I know, Harold, but I just didn't...
Why don't you press them yourself?
Say, where's my racket?
In my closet. I broke it. I meant to tell you.
You broke it? And meet with an important match tomorrow. Why didn't you get it fixed?
Where would I get the money?
Money? Mother, I need a couple of dollars to take Mary out tonight.
I haven't any money, Harold. But you might have when he comes home.
Fine thing. Dinner late, tennis racket broken, no money for date, and no pants to wear. If this really were a business, we'd go bankrupt, but fast.
But the struggles of women having rights in the workplace and in entrepreneurship started even earlier. In the 1800s and early 1900s, women were expected to stay at home. Working outside the home was very rare. And when women did work, they were often limited to teaching, nursing, and domestic services. The suffragettes movement fought for women's right to vote, but they ignited much more. If women could help decide governments, why couldn't they help build businesses? Voting brought recognition. Recognition brought new demands. Women wanted rights not just at the ballot, but in every part of society. Then came the World Wars. As men fought overseas, women stepped into factories, offices, and leadership roles. They proved that they could do men's work too, and sometimes even better. Even after the wars, when many were pushed back into old roles, the idea of women working outside of the home had already taken root. Then the laws started to catch up. In the UK, the Sex Disqualification Removal Act of 1919 opened up professions like law, finance, and civil service to women. In the US, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bans discrimination based on sex. These changes opened the corporation's door, and women were ready. In the 1950s, fewer than 30% of women in the UK were in the workforce. In the US, that number was similar, but by the 1980s, things were shifting. Women were entering boardrooms in shoulder pads and heels, climbing ladders in spaces never built for them.
In the 1980s, women were no longer in the streets, but slowly but surely, they were getting into college presidencies, into university boardrooms, into corporate boardrooms. There was Sally Ride, the first female astronaut.
During that time, there was just rapid growth of what women were doing. Even when I saw a woman's byline in the newspaper, it gave me an adrenaline rush.
In 1982, we opened up the New York City Fire Department to women firefighters. And in the big scheme of things, I felt like I was doing something that was important. That if I could convince little girls and the general public that women had the capability to be firefighters, then women could be anything.
The term career woman was born, not just to describe, but to warn. It separated women into two camps, traditional or ambitious. Even today, that binary still haunts us. So why does the career woman make so many people feel uncomfortable? Because she disrupts the script, the one where men lead and women follow, where male dominance isn't questioned, where a woman's ambition doesn't threaten a man's identity. The backlash isn't about women being too much, it's about some men making men feel like they're not enough.
Women who make more than their husbands in heterosexual marriages are up to 3 times more likely to get cheated on. Another recent study found that men's stress levels rise if their female partners earn more than 40% of the household income. Researchers find that promotions to top jobs dramatically increase a woman's likelihood of divorce, a pattern that does not hold true for men. In a series of studies published in the American Psychological Association's Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, men felt bad when their wives beat them at something. But they also subconsciously lost confidence when their wives got any wins, even when they weren't in direct competition with their partners. And this was true across all kinds of achievements, personal, social, and intellectual. Men felt worse about themselves when their partner succeeded compared to when she failed. And when their partner succeeded at something they failed at, their self-esteem took an even bigger hit, and in turn, their relationship satisfaction diminished. There's quite a bit of this data that seems to suggest that for ambitious women, personal success comes with a higher likelihood of relationship stress. And as long as we live in a world in which women's ambition often comes with these steep social and personal penalties, it's likely that these gender gaps will persist. In fact, there's quite a bit of research that shows women often change their behaviors in interactions that involve men to avoid this kind of backlash.
Popular podcast clips often go viral when men say things like, "If she makes more than me, I can't respect her. Career women will die alone." But these aren't new thoughts, they are old insecurity in a new format. Let's talk about how female ambition is perceived. When a man is assertive, he's a leader. When a woman is assertive, she is called aggressive. When a man is career-driven, he's called a provider. When a woman is career-driven, she is seen as neglecting her femininity. A study published in Harvard Business Review found that women in leadership are more likely to be described as abrasive, emotional, or hard to work with, even when their performance is rated the same or better than their male peers. The problem isn't women being bosses, the problem is how we interpret female power.
The first time that you encounter sexism and misogyny in the workplace as a woman, it is the most startling experience you will ever have, because it's something you hear about, but until it actually happens to you, you kind of, I don't know, you hope it doesn't happen to you, obviously, but you were also maybe in denial a little bit, or at least I was, that, oh, well, I might not be in a position where that happens. You know, like I work with really nice men. They're men. They're men, and I work in a traditionally male environment right now as a consultant, and with that comes sexism and misogyny. When all you work with, the only people you work with are men, it happens at some point. It happened to me in a particularly vicious and weird way. But I think that what people don't tell you is that you will feel so demeaned. It's actually crazy. Like, it is a full body experience of like, it's like a head rush, and you get all shaky and you get all weird. And this is what I want to tell you. When that happens to you, it is okay to not address it in the moment and address it later. It is okay to walk away, to gather yourself, to speak to people who love you and care for you and who you trust. It's okay to plan what you want to say in your head and go back to that person later. Because my mom put it perfectly, which is that there are two things you can do in this situation. And I mean, she was working in the Middle East in like the 90s, so she's well aware of sexism. But you can either let them get away with it. You can do what they want you to do. You can fit in the box that they want you to fit in, but then you let them win. And you give them permission to do it again or to do it to other people tacitly. Or you can make things uncomfortable for them. And that's what you should do. You should call them on it. You should make it uncomfortable for them. You should make them aware of the fact that what they did was inappropriate, that you are not going to let yourself be treated that way. You can walk away, you can gather yourself, and then you can go back to that person and say, hey, that was out of line. That was inappropriate. That was misogynistic. I am not comfortable with the way that you spoke to me. I don't give you permission to treat me that way, actually. And if it happens again, here's what I'm going to be doing about it. And then you make it clear to everyone around you what has happened. That's the key, I think. You have to not be shameful about it.
Let's pause for a second and critique the other side of this too. The commercialization of the career woman. The rise of girlboss aesthetic, popularized by Nasty Girl founder Sophia Amoruso, was meant to empower women to build businesses and break ceilings, but it also became a marketing tool. Suddenly, ambition was a product. You weren't just a working woman, you were a brand, a girl boss, a slay queen, a CEO. But many of these movements didn't actually challenge power. They replaced it. Under the surface, girlboss culture often mimicked the same toxic traits of male-dominated capitalism: overwork, exploitation, burnout. It asks women to lean in, but never question why the tables were so small in the first place.
I want to talk about women hiring managers who don't hire other women. We all know that systemically, women were oppressed and largely rejected or barred from participating in the workforce. Generally, we know that, right? However, we also know today that most of the women in companies, most of the people in companies who have the power to make hiring and firing decisions, nowadays, those are women. And I can tell you from the experience of being a woman, those women do not like hiring other women into their organizations. And they specifically do not like hiring younger women into their organizations, and then do not like hiring younger, educated women into their organizations. Ask anyone who is under the age of 35, under the age of 40 even, what they've gone through, especially ask any woman under those ages, what they've gone through in interviews, being interviewed by other women. Disappointing, sad, heartbreaking, tragic. As a sociologist in training with my sociology degree, I've always held the belief that it's other women who are the missing puzzle pieces to misogyny. It's other women who have political power, who have economic, financial power, who have hiring and firing power within organizations, who are still propping up misogyny and the patriarchy. Because it's those women who either don't hire younger, educated women into their organizations, or when they do hire those younger, educated women into their organizations, they do everything in their power to drive them out, from being condescending, from being mean, from being nasty, from refusing to train them properly, from overburdening them with more work than the role or the job requires. It's insane.
While the media often glorifies CEO in heels and tech startup founders on TikTok, the truth is most working women aren't climbing ladders. They're holding them steady. They're nannies, cleaners, care workers, nurses, retail workers, admin staff. Many are juggling jobs, parenting and elder care quietly and invisibly.
I am just as exhausted as I look. I work full time and I have 2 kids. The jump from 1 to 2 was already a lot. Survived. My daughter is 18 months. My oldest is 7. And, I thought we were entering like this golden phase where I was going to be able to sleep. Well, my oldest is now waking up multiple times a night because she's afraid of strangers, which is fine. I want to be there to help her, but it's not any less frustrating. But it's exhausting. Like, race in the morning, and then no time to chill, and then straight into work, and then straight into kids. And I feel like so many people make it look so easy, and it's not. I don't know how, like, am I just weak, or like it's everything just a highlight reel of the good times? Because our house is a shit show 80% of the time. You know, someone's screaming, someone's crying, someone's hitting someone. And I know it's just a season, but it's a hard fucking season. And it's just, I think social media gives us this false perception of, you know, what reality really is. And it's hard because you just feel like you have to live up to all these unrealistic expectations. Oh, I mean, I can't be alone. Like, I'm just exhausted.
And here's the bitter irony. Society is not set up to reward female workaholics. You can grind as hard as you want, showing up early, stay late, outperform everyone, and still your labor is devalued. Your emotional intelligence is labeled soft skills, your boundaries are questioned, your ambition is a suspect. Men who work obsessively are often praised, promoted, admired. Women who do the same, they are told they are neglecting their families or too much, or trying to be a man. As a black, brown, disabled, and working class woman, the bias multiplies.
This is the reason why black women, women of color, are so susceptible to burnout as founders and as leaders. We are made to feel like we do not get second chances, that we are not allowed to fail. Unlike members of dominant social groups who can mess up a whole company, scam a bunch of investors, get funding again, be on magazine covers again, we only get that one shot. When the narratives that surround you and the work you do are focused not on what you're building, but rather your identity, the fact that you're one of the few, one of the first, one of the only, that makes you feel the pressure to carry that identity's reputation and legacy on your shoulders. Why do I have to feel like I am representing the future of, you know, future women of color, future black girls? Why am I made to feel like if I fail, then I'm not going to get another chance, and neither are any of the people who look like me? That's unrealistic. Life is about the ups and the downs. Sometimes I'm going to be winning as a founder, and sometimes I'm going to be losing. Speaking honestly, I haven't been doing this well professionally or personally this year as I have done in previous years, but it feels so hard to talk about that. Like, if I start to talk about that, if I start to be honest about that, then I'm just proving them right. The racists, the bigots, the sexists, the ones who go around saying there aren't people like Abadesi around because people like Abadesi don't deserve to be around. They're not smart enough. They're not good enough. And that is not true. I deserve to take up space. I deserve to take up power. But part of being human means I'm not always doing well. I'm not always winning. And I don't carry a whole community's future on my shoulders.
A 2023 UN report shows that women are overrepresented in insecure, low-paying jobs globally. Black women in the UK are more likely to be overqualified for their roles but underpaid and underpromoted. So when we talk about the career women, we have to talk about which women we're celebrating and which ones we are still ignoring. Here's the truth. The rise of the career women is not a threat to society. It's a threat to a system that benefits from women being small. It's a threat to the patriarchy. It's unchecked capitalism. It's the idea that power can only look one way. When women lead, typically, companies perform better. Teams are more collaborative, communities grow stronger. Studies shows that gender diverse leadership leads to more ethical, innovative outcomes across industries. The real threat isn't female ambition, it's the culture that refuses to adapt to it. So, let's be honest, being a boss isn't about stepping on others. It's about lifting others while standing firmly in your truth. It's about the choice, whether that means starting a business, staying at home, or being both, or something in between. The next time you think or you say career women are a threat to society, ask yourself, a threat to who? Drop this emoji right here in the comment section if you're a woman navigating this journey or if you support one, and tell me, what does power look like to you? Let's stop fearing ambitious women. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Bye.